学习最后一部分第12课最后一部分which is at the end of page 36 and the whole part of page 38. 郑天明说，南京一边是一栋栋高楼大厦，一边是一座座传统建筑。一边是it means one side is this, the other side is this. 好，高楼大厦，大厦 means building, a tall building, mansion. 厦 it has two pronunciation. Most cases are here in this context when it means building, the pronunciation is 厦，大厦。Another pronunciation is 厦 Xia for fourth tone 厦 when it is in the word 厦门 which is a city name in Fujian province 厦门 but here when it means a tall building it is 大厦 and 栋 is a measure word 一栋高楼一栋大厦。Okay, next, 一边是一座座传统建筑，传统建筑我们学过了 is a traditional architecture. 座 is also a measure word for 建筑一座建筑。It is also a measure word for mountains. For example, 一座山measure word for bridges, 一座桥 or cities, 一座城市 and some other large solid things. For these things, we use the measure word 座。Okay, now, but why we reduplicated the measure word? If it is 一栋高楼大厦, it is just one building. 一座建筑, it is just one architecture, but it's not. Based on this context, you know that it means Nanjing has, on the one hand, row after row of tall buildings, and row upon row of traditional buildings on the other side. So here, 一 plus reduplicated measure word, for example, 一栋栋 or 一座座, describe a large grouping of identical or similar, yet distinctly individual objects. There are two examples here. 桌子上摆着一盘盘水果，一瓶瓶可乐。On the table, there's a plate of fruits and a bottle of cola. 我家门前有一座座高山，风景特别漂亮。In front of my house, there are mountains upon mountains. The landscape is really pretty. Well, I think most cases we don't use this grammar often. But in the reading, if you see that 一栋栋一座座, you just make sure that you know what's the meaning of this, why they reduplicate the measure word. 好，站在这儿 standing here.我好像听到了一种声音 It seems like that I heard a sound. 种 is a measure word, means one kind. A kind of sound or a sound, a voice. 丽莎问什么声音？你听到什么声音了？张天明说历史的脚步声脚步 means footstep, the footstep sound, the footstep sound of the history. 他说来 because they went to Nanjing, then he saw some traditional architecture, but they also saw some modernized tall building as well, so they can see the history are making progress. 好，他说来中国以前，爸爸让我找他上的那个中学。Before coming to China, Dad asked me to find the middle school. Which middle school? The one that he went to. 上 is a word. 上学 or 上班他上的that middle school that he went. 一会儿我给他发微信。一会儿means a little while or in a minute, in a moment. Sometimes people also change the pronunciation as 一会儿一会儿我给他发微信 or 一会儿我给他发微信 both are correct. no matter this 一会儿 or 一会儿you make sure that you know it is these characters. 一会儿我给他发微信。I send the WeChat to him. 告诉他南京变化太大。Told him 南京 changed a lot. 那个中学已经找不到了。We cannot find that school. 再把今天拍的照片发给他看看。This is the first thing. First thing is to send WeChat and tell him there's a huge change. And then, that means and then, send him the picture that we took today. 好，拍照片or 拍照片。So although in the dictionary or the textbook, 片 is fourth tone 照片, but usually native speakers say 照片 first tone. So when people say 照片 don't be surprised. They say take pictures 拍照片，或者是 shoot a film 拍电影。The photo they took today 今天拍的照片。Okay, but they use 把 structure actually in the first year Chinese and also second year Chinese. I think you have seen 把 structure a lot. Here we just very quickly go over these four. There are more structures, not just four structures, but we'll just quickly go over it. Subject 把 object, verb 在 place. This is the first structure. For example, 我把书放在桌子上。I put the book on the desk. There's the first structure. The second structure, subject 把 object 1, verb 给 object 2. For example, 我把照片发给他。I sent the photo to him. There are some other examples. 我们把礼物送给老师。We give the gift to the teacher. 他把房子卖给别人了。He sold the house to others. 我把他介绍给老板了。I introduced him to my boss. So we can use 在, we can use 给, we can also use compliment. For example, 我把作业做完了。I finished the homework. But 完 here means finished. It's a resultative complement. I do it and I finish it. 做完了。老师把我的名字读错了。The teacher mispronounced my name. 读 means to read. It's a verb. And 错 here is a resultative complement. It means wrong. I read it, but it turned out the result is wrong. 好，把我的眼镜拿过来。So here, 完 and 错 is a resultative complement. We can also use a directional complement. For example, 过来，拿过来 bring to here. 把我的眼镜拿过来 bring my glasses to here. Or 把客人带进去 bring the guests to enter in, to go into maybe some place or some like meetings room. So 进去 is directional complement. And 带 here is the verb. 带进去. So we can also use complement. And then we can also use 了. For example, I forgot these things. 我把这事儿忘了。忘了 forgot. Okay, but there are more actually. But in the future, if we see it, we'll talk about this. 好。表哥说，我也听到了一种声音。I also heard a voice. 什么声音？表哥 made a joke. 表哥说，肚子咕噜咕噜的声音。The rumbling sound of your belly. 肚子咕噜咕噜的声音。走了这么多路 you walked a long way. 你们好像不累不饿 You seem not tired and not hungry. 可是我这个导游又渴又累 But me as a tour guide is thirsty and hungry. Okay, if you want to use two adjectives, you can use 又 and 又 to connect them together. 又渴又饿 For example, big and beautiful. 又大又漂亮 Okay, 别忘了 Don't forget. 民以食为天 Here are to remind 张天明 and丽莎these old sayings. 走，吃饭去 go. Let's eat. Okay, that's the end of lesson 12, part 3.